Alright guys, Jeff here with another fan video, and this one is a fan I actually just picked up yesterday, just recently got it. It is a, well, there's actually some confusion as to what it is. I went to get it because I saw that it had a flywheel. I wasn't quite sure what it is. Through various discussions on the online groups, we have narrowed it down to a Kenroy or a Gulf Coast Naples. I am leaning towards the Gulf Coast myself because I have ran across several of those with the exact same canopy. The canopy is actually the canopy and bracket together. It's a two-piece canopy. The first part screws up onto the ceiling mount, and then the other piece slides in and attaches with the little screws. So due to the canopy, I'm going to assume that this is a Gulf Coast Naples for the purposes of this video until someone can prove me otherwise. So I picked up this fan. Unfortunately, it had been resting on the blade irons, which did a pretty effective job of destroying the previous flywheel. So I tore it down, went through all the wiring, pulled off the switch housing, and put a brand new old stock flywheel on there. The F20 I think is the model that it takes. Put it all back together, straightened out the blade irons that got a little bit bent from resting the motor on them, and it runs pretty darn nicely. So we'll go ahead and do a demonstration here, starting on high. But it would help if I plugged it in. There we go, that's high. I'm quite impressed with the airflow this thing puts out. I mean, I'd say it's comparable to the rubber flywheeled Fascos I've seen, or maybe even up there with Casablanca. It really moves some air, runs nice and quietly. There was no bearing noise on this one. I did give the bearing some oil while I was in there just because I already had the flywheel off, so I figured why not as a preventative measure. But no, this fan runs very nicely. I'm quite impressed with the quality for a Gulf Coast fan. So we'll go down to medium. Pretty fast medium on this one still. Still feeling quite a bit of airflow here. And we'll go all the way down to low. So if you do come across one of these fans that has a broken flywheel, I will say it is one of the easiest flywheels I have ever changed out on a fan. There wasn't much to it at all. Couple of the crimping wire nuts that just needed to be cut off and replaced. Switch housing is held on with a nut that can just be backed off, and then it is threaded itself, slides right off of there. So it was a very easy flywheel replacement, much easier than Casablanca's. And we'll power off here. Oh, let's go back up to high and do a full spin down on it. We'll get going up at high again. There we go. So I may or may not be selling this fan. I haven't decided yet. After putting all the time into fixing it up, I've kind of grown a little bit attached to it. Polished brass is usually my favorite finish in most fans anyways, and I haven't had one of these before, so may or may not be ending up on eBay. You'll just have to wait and see what I end up deciding. So now we will go around and once the spin down finishes, we'll flip over to reverse. This fan is also strikingly similar to the Casablanca, or I'm sorry, the Fasco Boca Raton that I listed on eBay earlier this week. That was a 4-blade fan with slightly different style blades and antique brass, but a lot of similarities between those two. So we'll start on low for our reverse run. Medium. And high. Little wobble on reverse, but that's most likely because it's hanging so low to the ceiling in this very short room. I'll have to check the blade pitches just to make sure, but didn't have that when it was running on downdraft. Alright, so I don't feel like waiting for a spin down on reverse, so hope you guys have enjoyed, and this fan may or may not be going up for